All right, pump me up.
Don't screw it.
Why is he so groovy? Hello, I'm Justin.
And I'm Kyle.
And it is that spooky time of year. We are here with our witch's brew.
Bink.
And we are talking about skeletons and the best scary, spooky skeleton action figure toys, at least of the last few years.
There was that show from the 90s,
Skeleton Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately we don't have any of those.
We don't have any of those. We won't be getting into too much vintage stuff. Most of the stuff we're talking about is contemporary. Contemporary scary.
Scary.
Scary. And I have my bone sword with us. This is a Lego Ninjago. I'm going to be gesturing like that. We're talking about regular toys that have elements of horror in them. So for instance, we're not going to be talking about the NECA horror line. We're talking about the gems, the nuggets that you may not realize exist.
Specifically the bony ones.
It's zombies skirt the line.
I'm pretty sure they have bones on the inside.
Yeah, most people do. Most people. I don't trust people who don't.
Have you met very many people?
So let's just start with one of the oldie originals is the Lego Skeleton from 1995 from the Lego Castle line. Obviously, this is not an original. There's a really cool 3D printed blown up version. He does move, though I'm afraid to move his legs. I think they'll just snap off.
Stiff.
Original floppy arm skeleton, and he's glow in the dark. Kind of something morbid for Lego. Do you know why they stopped doing the floppy arms?
It was too lifelike and realistic.
You know, the way the skeletons stay together and flop around. No, that was not it, actually. Good guess, though. They had skeletons come back as bad guys in later castle lines in the 90s.
So they had to hold the swords.
Exactly. So they completely changed the body. So the floppy arm originals, you can't get anymore. Of course, now they have the different versions. They have the Minecraft skeletons and things like that. What did you bring for us today?
I brought, surprise, surprise, of no one, Transformers. I brought some...
What Transformers make skeletons?
Yes! There was a line called Fossilizers. So I brought 3 of them here. I have Paleotrex. I have Skelevor. So he was part of a 2-pack, a little wink and a nod. He came with a Siege Megatron. It was a 2-pack for the Netflix series. He was a pun a little bit, so his name was Skelevor. Sounds like
Skeletor.
Also, he's a purple dinosaur, so he was also
Purple
hinting at
skeleton.
Megatron.
Yeah. And Skelevor, he eats things. So he sounds like Skeletor, but also the name by itself makes sense. It's like a triple pun. It's punception.
I have Wingfinger right here.
So these guys actually transform into robots?
They're parts formers. This was the Fossilizers line, so this was part of the Weaponizers, or an offshoot of the Weaponizers. So these came apart and became weapons for other characters. But they also turned into robots, but you'd have to disassemble them.
Often you say Transformers that have to do more than one thing transform don't do any of the things very well. How do these stack up?
They did the right thing and started with the skeleton. Sometimes they start with a robot and then they have to try and make it look like a skeleton. So they want this cool looking robot, but they went the correct route, is make a really accurate, or at least very good looking skeleton, and then trying to make a robot out of it. So the robots look really strange. They do not look like Transformers.
How can they? Gotta be skinny and bony, right?
They are. And they're kind of odd proportions. Since they come apart, there's tons of really creative folks out there who've made just monstrosities where they just put them together and they have multiples of the same one. And there's people who have made a bone throne for Megatron.
And the purple one was special, right? Like he wasn't a regular release.
He was hard to get. Yeah, Walmart exclusive 2-pack. And he's translucent, and translucent plastic is pretty cool.
Speaking of translucent, let's talk about a figure that is 100% glow in the dark. I've never seen that before. Maybe the internal joints aren't glow in the dark, but every bit of him, the armor, the bones, the skull, everything except for the weapons is glow in the dark.
Well, now, was Scareglow a glow in the dark figure with extra paint on him? He's made of glow in the dark plastic. He wasn't translucent.
This guy's translucent and glow in the dark. I mean, holy cow, this is to the nines. This is Hagnon from the Mythic Legions by 4 Horsemen. I love this guy. He comes with a zombie head and a skeleton head. Speaking of Scareglow, I do have the Mega Construx Scareglow that is actually glow in the dark. Another cool skeleton. Have you ever seen a skeleton that's both bones and muscular?
He-Man would do it.
And Skeletor, he just went with the skull face. While we're on Mythic Legion, let's keep on going because they have a host of cool skeletons. In fact, they had a whole line, a whole faction of nothing but scary bony skeletons. And what I like about them is that they're all puns on bones. This is Mandibulus. and he is just mean looking from head to toe. He's got the skeleton bad guy sigil. This is from the Advent of Decay subline. He does not have the movable jaw like Hagnon. They did make a generic skeleton soldier in that line as well. Now, I've got the add-on bone wings. I don't know how effective they are at flying, but they're certainly intimidating on the battlefield.
Yeah, it makes it a little hard to get through doorways.
Now, you were asking me, would I get any more Four Horsemen stuff? They are amazing, but they fall into the posable statue. And you know, I like the toys. We talk a lot about what makes a good action figure in this video. So at the end of this video, check out that one.
We have the little guys. Why don't you talk about these guys?
I think these are a good complement to the Mythic Legion, but on a cheaper scale. These are from Boss Fight Studios. This was their original hacks. I forgot how tiny these guys were. What started my journey into collecting modern action figures, they had all sorts of historical skeletons. Then they had these guys that were just crazy colors. They're not super posable. Their tiny little jaws do move, but not very well. They only go so far, and some of them kind of just snap back into place like they actually are possessed.
Are you sure they're not?
No, I'm not sure. These are awesome. I love these. I love how tiny they are. I'm kind of falling back in love with these now that I'm seeing them. Speaking of Boss Fight Studio, they have this amazing line where they now upsized all of their figures. I did a short review of one of these guys and the Red Sonja that came out, if you want to check those out. But these things are awesome. They're basically just these guys upscaled. Some of them have movable jaws, some of them don't. They're skeletons in different occupations. This one's the pirate. This one's the gladiator. We have a Grim Reaper, and we also have
a pro wrestler.
Skeleton, which I've never seen before.
Other Roman soldier, gladiator.
Yes. Here's the Grim Reaper one. He actually came with an alternate head that was a pumpkin. I don't know why he's blue though.
He's sad. He's lonely.
If you don't know, the hacks are called that because you can switch them out. Hack stands for Highly Articulated Character Kit System, meaning they want you to mix and match it. So all of these guys easily come apart.
Question, are the hacks more durable? They're closer to toys?
Yes. Okay, so these things will snap. These things are harder plastic, not the armor, but some of the internals. These guys are made of a much more rubbery material. I think you have to with the bones because they'll just break. They're not that posable, and I think it's just because it's a skeleton. It's hard to hide the joints with the mechanics. The Grim Reaper can point at you menacingly or dance the disco.
That's important. Both are just as menacing.
Why is he so groovy?
Or you watch his sweet moves and just die. Yeah, look at that skeleton. He's getting... So you have always liked skeletons. Like anytime there was a skull-themed anything, you were like, that's mine.
Kyle and I can draw, kind of, doodle, sort of. One of the first things I ever remember drawing is a skeleton. I was always a weirdo.
I think the theme's fun. It's a good time. It's a good time. I like Halloween and Christmas. Those are my favorites.
Not Thanksgiving? A lot of people pass over Thanksgiving.
There's not enough media, I think. I think the turkeys need more action figures. And maybe. We need a transformer that's a turkey.
Well, like the
I can't even say it. There is a bodbod that's a cooked turkey. So imagine you're having dinner and like, oh man, that's my friend. That's my bodbod.
What's eating you? What's eating me? You! Alright, more Witch's Brew.
Talking about skeletons and the spooky themed, and we're going over mostly skeletons, but there's characters who are skeletons, but they're way more stylized.
Yes.
Probably the easiest one to point out is Jack Skellington. He definitely had the skeleton look to his hands, but his head was just kind of this ball of clay, and he could do all the expressions. He could have a cute face, even though he had black soulless eyes. He could still have those kind of sorrowful expressions.
He had the black soulless eyes, but the way it was done was almost like giant puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
No eyes there.
He didn't have a big, tall skull, and the eyes went almost all the way to the top, so he looked very cute. But then he'd make those menacing faces.
Yes. He could be both scary and
endearing.
Cuddly.
Like you. Well, I don't know about cuddly.
Can you cuddle a skeleton?
You could, but you'd probably go to jail.
Sally does. Sally does, but she's a zombie.
It's a ragdoll, right?
Yeah, ragdoll Frankenstein zombie.
It's a lot of things.
This is the new NECA Jack Skellington Ultimate. I hope they do an Oogie Boogie. Don't know if they're selling well enough.
Well, what is that Jack Skellington?
So this is the original Revlotech one. This is from years and years and years ago, because I loved Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously. And I believe this has been redone, but this is the original one. This still looks great. I don't think it beats the new NECA one, Stan. The Stan is obviously not proportional to him, but
Skeleton motifs is a fun thing that toys and media can do. A lot of times it's done to be very scary, but sometimes it can just be fun.
The Mario video games, after you defeat him in the lava, you're like, whew, I'm done. No, he comes back out of the lava as a skeleton, and this is the Bowser Skeleton Lego set. Now, just built with Lego pieces, I know they're relying heavily on the stickers. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
While we're on Lego, this is from Bionicle, their last hurrah. The combined evil form of Umarak and the big baddie. When they actually combined, he put on the mask. The evil guys were all skeletons, and they all had these cool bone pieces, but they came in translucent red, translucent purple, and then, again, Lego is a wealth of spooky and skeleton, even in themes where it doesn't really fit, like ninjas.
Ninjago's always had skeletons, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that one of the first?
One of the season 1 villains, early season, they've had skeletons forever. The bad guy is riding a giant skull dragon. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, skeleton dragons are cool.
I mean, skeleton people are awesome, and then when you start getting into dinosaurs and monsters and mythological skeletons.
What do you think is the appeal?
I think it's weirdos like me like the Halloween, the spookiness. I think it stems from the original Jason and the Argonauts skeleton, the claymation where the guys were fighting at. That's what started it for me.
Was that Harryhausen?
Yes, Ray Harryhausen. Correct. Yeah, the Ray Harryhausen stop motion. That's what this guy reminded me of so much when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's from my childhood. I mean, it wasn't my childhood. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
That was on TV a lot. I remember
it was, yeah.
Like just turning on the TV and that was on.
So that's kind of, I think, what started it for me, you know, the spookiness of fighting the risen warriors. You know, Halloween, of course, and like I said, I always liked skeletons.
Why do you think it's more just spooky and not frightening? Because I'm trying to think of an example where skeletons were used to be really scary. But most of the examples, especially when it comes to toys, they're just used to be spooky.
Do you think it's because it is a classic Halloween costume from the 50s that skeleton has always been kind of in the mindset of being, oh, a spooky decoration, let's put a skeleton on the wall. You look at that, it's like, oh, that's a human, a dead human.
Well, do you think in science classrooms, when you had the skeleton, people have been just desensitized to it?
Probably, because you're right, like, when has a skeleton been used for scaring? There's skull-faced people, but full-on skeletons as a scary thing. I mean, heck, Jason and his Argonauts, they took out swords and fought him. They weren't that scared of them.
No, he didn't act scared. He was like, here we go again. And plus it was bright day. It wasn't dark.
Pirates of the Caribbean. That was kind of spooky. That was kind of spooky. That was done in a spooky way. This is from Ghost Rabbit. And the only reason I got this is because it showed up when I was looking at Big Bad and it was on sale. This is part of their Redemption skeleton line. They're actually doing bone snake warriors. They have these Aztec kind of armored snake
Those the
warriors.
New ones?
Yes. I did not realize they were this big. This is a hefty boy. He's big and it's thick. The Boss Fight Studio actually has a hole there, and these guys don't do that. They're just sculpted to look like skeletons.
Painted that way.
And they have about the same articulation. Again, I think you're limited with skeletons because the hip bones get in the way of full articulation. You know, they can't really do the side kick. They do have an ab crunch, which these guys do not, unfortunately. This guy did come with a skull face, but I have his jack-o'-lantern screaming. Do you like skeletons? Do you want to see more from Hasbro?
I think it would be neat. They have used the skeleton motif before in Transformers. There's Cannonball. He had the skeleton painted on the side. There was the Valk from Beast Wars. They were like these floating ghost skulls.
Bludgeon, right? Had a skull face.
Bludgeon had a skull face. Skullgrin the Pretender. He had a monster skull. He had the big horns and everything. Yeah. It's just fun. It's immediately intimidating, I think, when you have a robot with a skull painted on them.
Going back to what you were saying about can skeletons be truly scary if they had a new slasher villain, but instead of a clown or Freddy Krueger or something like that, it was just a skeleton?
Do you think skeletons are a little silly?
I think they've been silly-ized.
So what is your favorite skeleton?
Oh,
I know what mine is. The one inside of you.
I can't wait to have it. I love the glow-in-the-dark guy. He's pretty cool. As a full-on skeleton, these epic hacks, I think, are some of my favorite. Though this guy's pretty cool too. Man, I can't decide.
What would you like to see in the future?
More crazy
Occupations?
yeah, because they have a cowboy, which I don't have.
How about like a surgeon?
Would you want a skeleton working on you?
No, I wouldn't want a skeleton cowboy either.
You wouldn't?
Like normal occupation. He's an accountant. A skeleton accountant.
Now that is scary. How does he move without muscle and tendons?
Magic.
Magic, evil magic. Mm-hmm. Evil magic, the only good kind.
The only good kind of magic is evil. You realize what you just said?
Those are our picks for our favorite skeleton-themed toys from non-horror genres. We do have a few honorable mentions from the Transformer line.
Well, there was the Munsters. They had Frankenstein, they had Dracula. Or Frankenstein's Munster, technically.
It was official Universal.
Yeah, they were
licensed.
Right? They were gonna make more, but the line was canceled. I don't think it did very well. I wish they could have done the Wolfman and Bride of Frankenstein and some of those others. And then I also have, from Transformers Prime, Zombie Cliff Jumper, or Terracon Cliff Jumper.
Spooky Zombie. Transformer. Is that the first time we've seen zombie Transformers?
You know what? I think so. Maybe not. Maybe there's another instance of... No, Optimus Prime
in the original.
And then the original, he was brought back.
That was not really zombie, because...
He was being controlled.
Yeah, that is like a full-on...
Yeah.
Zombie.
Trying to suck the energon out of someone.
Yes. Yeah, so he was a zombie vampire.
Well, instead of eating brains.
Okay.
He wasn't going to eat their brain modules.
Motherboard! CPU! What are your favorite skeletons? Let us know down in the comments, and tell us which ones we missed out on. There's some really cool high-end ones, as you can see from here. $55 is about our limit. Enjoy this time of year.
Now get out of here, you crazy kids.
And loosen them bones for you.
Oh, that's scary. Panthro?
Panthroid's the scariest.
Yeah.
What's the scariest 80s, like, monster, creature, bone, skeleton thing?
Panthro. He wears spiked suspenders to hold up his underwear.
You think they just stay up out of fear?